You should be so proud of me. I got straight A's on my entire report card. Aren't you failing math? No. Look over there. Ow. Oh my gosh, did you see that? She just kicked me. Oh my gosh, don't be silly. I would never kick you. Hey, what is that? Ow. Oh my gosh, would you quit looking over there? Being conceited and only sharing the things that we think make us look perfect, and then doing anything necessary to make sure that those things about ourselves that we're not so proud of stay hidden, are a real issue and can keep us in a really vicious cycle of never really getting to know who we truly are. So in this book here, it's called The Instruction by Ainsley MacLeod. This is a really interesting book. I came across this book when I was watching a Super Soul Sunday by Oprah, and this was really, really cool. So I remember I was like knitting. I had my earphones in, or my earpods in, and then I was knitting, and I was waiting for my son to get done with these testings, these mandated testings that they do for school. So I had a lot of time to kill. And I'd listened to this whole thing, and I never really would have picked up a book like this. And so this whole book, if you're into like spirit guides and things like that,
Nope.
I'll tell you, before I read this book, I really was not. That was one side of the whole spiritual, the universe, and all those titles that I was like, yeah, but spirit guides is, I kind of don't do the spirit guide things. I think it's because I'm like afraid of spirits just kind of being around me.
You don't scare me!
I don't want that. But so I really never took that kind of stuff seriously. But in the very beginning of this book, I bought the book because the interview was so amazing. I highly recommend it. This whole book was written basically from his spirit guides. So he kind of channeled all of the information, and it's all about how we live on 10 different levels, and we kind of come back and reincarnate, and that we have these 10 different levels, and it tells you what level you are. It tells you all kinds of stuff of where you are right now in that whole evolution. He breaks everything down. So it's a really, really cool book. I love the interview. But at the very, very beginning of the book, it says like, you can't read this book, or we shouldn't even move forward unless you figure out whether or not you have spirit guides. So ask.
I don't wanna.
And I was like, oh, I was doing laundry too. I'm sitting on the bed. I was like getting ready to start reading the book, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I was all by myself, and then I just put the book down, and I just kind of like sat there and asked, like, do I have spirit guides? And it was so overwhelming. It was so crazy. The feeling that I got, the message that came through was like, absolutely you do. And these people know you, you know them, and they love you. And like family, like ex-family members, not ex-family members, but like family members that are passed on, things like that. And so it was just very touching, and I wasn't expecting to have that experience with this book. But anyway, that's the little thing about this book. So The Instruction by Ainsley MacLeod. And check out what he had to say about the challenge of conceit. Now, that's another thing, is this book, he kind of breaks everything down into what your challenge may be within this cycle as well. And so you can figure out, this is a very, like a workshop book, a how-to book. And so this is one of the challenges, and I thought this was really interesting and can apply to so many. It says, those with the challenge of conceit mask their true selves with a veneer of bravado. The fear is exposure, that people might see the person they really are. The source is most often from childhood and usually results from not having received enough attention. It can also arise from being hurt and learning to fear your own vulnerability. When I think that, you know, obviously not getting enough attention as a child can definitely be a reason to be conceited, you know, like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. But I thought the other side of it was strong as well. If you've ever been hurt as a child, maybe taken advantage of, and if you have really felt a lot of pain because of that, you could really start to develop this fear of vulnerability, that, hey, when I am vulnerable, I get hurt. And so I'm no longer going to be vulnerable, and I'm going to put up this, you know, veneer. this bravado that he was talking about. And I found that to be really interesting because this is something that can stop us on our cycle of evolution and of our growth. We must be seen, we must be allowed, or we must feel comfortable to be vulnerable. And it is terrible that people take advantage of it, but that doesn't mean that the way that we deal with it is by avoidance. It is by understanding it and then moving through it. And that's the evolutionary process, is that we need to kind of push past and push through things. So, you know, if you self-diagnose here a little bit, if you feel that you're really, really comfortable with letting people see only the good stuff, only the, the great stuff, which I think is a common thread within most of us, and you're really, really uncomfortable if information gets out about you that you're not happy about. You know, if someone says like, aren't you failing math? And you feel like I'm gonna kick you because that information ain't getting out.
You need Jesus.
This is a good indication that maybe you're a little afraid of being vulnerable or being seen for who you truly are. So take a look at that. Sorry, this was so deep. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it assisted you in discovering your next step in evolution and breaking past it and breaking through it. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow, Booksters. Hey there, thanks so much for watching the video all the way to the end. And thank you for all the support by clicking the like button and the subscribe button. It helps us support the channel. Also, I'm over on Instagram. I do IG lives and coaching, and I leave some bloopers on there as well. And thanks so much for commenting. I read all the comments and I really appreciate them. Thanks. Bye.